Hello. What's going on, everybody? It's me again, second night in a row. Um, Doing another stream here tonight. Getting ready. Tonight is the primer, I guess you could call it, the preview show for the 2023 Living Dead weekend. Here, what is it? 3 days away. Well, it'll be about 3 days away before I head out. Leaving early Thursday morning. But the official kickoff date, June 9th through the 11th. Next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Living Dead weekend, Monroeville Mall, the 45th anniversary of Dawn of the Dead. Um, so, yeah, tonight we're going to just kind of uh, look over the Living Dead weekend website. Going to be just kind of going over the entire guest list, going over the entire schedule, looking at the what photo ops are available. If you haven't picked up any photo ops, this might be a good time to do it because there's some pretty cool ones. I gotta say, there's a couple there that are really really freaking cool. So we're gonna go over all that and more here tonight, just to get us ready for the big weekend coming up. I appreciate you guys checking it out, and I appreciate you guys checking out my stream that I did last night. The video, um, the Monroeville Airport in memoriam, I guess you could call it. Um, it's performing pretty well, pretty well. I think that that location really, uh, really meant a lot to a lot of people, and I appreciate you guys checking out that video and checking out that stream. Um, so back at it again tonight. This will be the last stream that I do until my ass is in Pittsburgh, in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Like I said, plan on doing a number of streams while I'm there. Some kind of wrap up streams at the end of the night. There's probably going to be some late nights in Pittsburgh. There's all kinds of stuff going on. There's screenings going on both Friday night and Saturday night. One is officially affiliated with Living Dead Weekend. The other one is kind of Living Dead Weekend adjacent. We'll go over that, talk about that coming up here in a minute too. But yeah, like I said, planning on doing some streams while I'm at the event. I'm planning on doing some quick live streams from actual locations. Plan on stopping by quite a few places and just checking out everything and seeing how everything's aging, pretty much. So so yeah, this will be the last stream that I got in the works for you guys until then. But I figured tonight would be a good night, Sunday night. Um, Good time to kind of lay it all out, see what's in store, and get myself and all of you ready to go. Like I said, it's the 45th anniversary of Dawn of the Dead. 45 years. It's crazy. I remember the first time I saw Dawn of the Dead. It was probably about 20 years old. So I've been a fan of this film for 25 years now, a vast majority of my life. Because I think I saw it when I was like 9, 10 years old, something like that, for the first time, and just was obsessed with it from that point on. So it's kind of crazy to think that this is the 45th. I mean, it feels like just yesterday that the 40th anniversary reunion show was going on at the Living Dead weekend. And I unfortunately missed that one for some personal reasons at the time. But I'm definitely psyched and glad that I'll get to attend the 45th. And of course, probably the most unfortunate thing that I think we can all agree with. The sad thing about it is that George unfortunately will not be there. He'll be there in spirit. I think we all know that. Of course, they got his bust proudly displayed down at the end of the mall where the convention is going to be going on, and it's right there where they're going to be doing a lot of the panels. Which there's some pretty cool panels. Once they announced these panels, I was originally planning on leaving early Sunday morning and getting back and making it back to work Monday, which that's still the plan. But there's a couple of panels they announced for Sunday morning that I may not be able to pass up. Some pretty cool stuff. So we'll go over that here in just a second. But yeah, just wanted to make sure we all understand that we're we're all fans of this, and we all understand that this only happens. Friendships are only forged. Um, all of this is because of George, and uh, it's unfortunate. I wished he could have been there. I often hear people ask, like, what would George think of the fact that, especially with what he was trying to say about consumerism in the mall. Like, how would he feel that people gather at that mall 45 years later, to remember him and to remember his films and to celebrate him and to celebrate his films. And it's funny. Part of me thinks, he would be really touched by that, but the other part of me that you know from all the years of listening to George and reading about George and reading interviews and listening to interviews, he would probably wonder why. He'd probably say, "Why? What the hell's wrong with you people?" To Maul, George was always just super humble about that kind of stuff, and just the thought that an entire convention, because George did conventions for years. The first and only time I got to meet George was at a convention. And I know that the Living Dead weekend was around while he was still with us. I believe he attended a couple of the early ones that they had in Evans City. But I think just to see what it's become, what it's grown to, the fact that there is an actual Living Dead museum now in the mall, which is another big selling point for anybody out there that hasn't got tickets yet, or is on the fence of whether to go or not. That the Living Dead Museum is definitely a sight to behold. It's definitely something you want to check out while you can. But yeah, I just think he would laugh, shake his head, and because I mean, anytime, I know from my experience in meeting him, just telling him how much of a fan I was and how important his films were to me. It's just like he didn't get it in a way. And I know, listening to interviews with Suze, his widow, of the past few years. I mean, just she would try to explain to him, like, George, your films are important. I mean, these, your films meant something to a lot of people. And George would just kind of be like, I don't get it. I don't get it. he just never saw himself as the icon and the important filmmaker that he was. So I think just to see what this convention is, a convention based solely around his work and his vision and everything that he offered and gave to us over the years. I just think he would be just confused more than anything. Just like, I don't get it, but I know he appreciated all his fans. And I mean, just the one time I got to meet him was a Texas Frightmare weekend, 2008. He was there the entire weekend, from the time the convention opened to the time of the convention. I didn't see the man get up to take a bathroom break or eat anything. I mean, his line was constantly, just packed with people, and he never got up from the table. He signed and talked to and took pictures with and gave time to literally everybody that waited and stood in line just to meet him, and never, his enthusiasm never waned. Just a special guy. You could tell he appreciated and loved his fans, and I think this convention is just kind of a small way that his fans can kind of show our love and appreciation for him and his films as well. Um, so yeah, unfortunately, the man himself will not be there, but there are tons and tons. My God, this guest list is incredible. I'm gonna put it up here on the scroll here in just a second. Just to kind of go over, and this isn't even the complete list. I ran out of room on this scroll here at the bottom for the guest list, and I'll put it up when we start going through the guests here in a second. But man, they got some good ones this year. Still a few names missing. I understand that David Emge is just not. I don't think he's in a place health wise to do conventions anymore, which is very unfortunate, because I mean, he would make a killing at these. If he were to do one, I mean, he would, he'd be the main event, the talk of the town, because it's been so long since he's done one, and unfortunately, I've never gotten a chance to meet him. Um, so that's unfortunate, but pretty much anybody and everybody else that you could think of that should be at this convention is pretty much at this is going to be at this convention. So it's pretty exciting stuff. Pretty exciting stuff. And of course, if you want more information, if you're still on the fence, thinking about getting tickets to go to this thing, go, man. It's a weekend long party. It's time. It's the one time a year. A friend of mine I was talking to earlier, um, Matt. What's up, buddy? He put it the best. It's like most people in your daily lives are your significant others, your wives, your husbands, your kids. They I know on my end, my fiance, it's kind of a hard sell for her to bring her along to say, hey, once a year, every summer, we're going to take a couple of days off, take a couple of vacation days, and drive 8 hours up to Pittsburgh to go hang out at a mall for a few days. Most people that doesn't compute, but he put it the best. He was like, for them, it's just, it's just a trip to the mall and just kind of a thing. But for people like us, it's Disneyland. It's our chance to go play at Disney World for a couple of days. It's the one place in the world that I would want to take a vacation. Believe it or not, I've said that for years. I remember being in like high school, and you have those like you at the beginning of class, you'd have your journal out, and there'd be a topic on the board of, what is your favorite band and why, or what's your favorite movie and why, and of course, anytime that anybody would ask, if you could vacation or visit one place on planet Earth, where would you go? And my answer was always Pittsburgh, and I finally made that happen a couple of years ago, and it doesn't disappoint. There's just something about that city. If you love Romero and you love his films, there is something about that city. I mean, and just the surrounding areas. It's in the air. George is in the air. His work, everywhere you turn, it's just like, it's funny. The first place we went 2 years ago, we once we checked into the hotel in downtown Pittsburgh, right down the road is the original Primanti Brothers, which is a famous Pittsburgh little eatery. And so once we got to Pittsburgh, got off the flight, got our rental car, got to the hotel, we're tired, don't want to do too much, so we're just like, let's just go down. We're gonna check out this Primanti Brothers, and get a taste of Pittsburgh, literally. And what's the first thing I see when I walk in? On the wall, a painting of every famous Pittsburgher that you could think of, and right there, as soon as you walk in, right across on the other end of the restaurant is George Romero, painting George Romero. So that's when I knew. I was like, yes, this is where I want to be. This is definitely my kind of place. Is Pittsburgh. So yeah, if you're on the fence and you want to go, get more information, get your tickets, www.thelivingdeadweekend.com. And of course, you can also get your photo ops and all your extra, your VIP package, the location tour, the mall tour that Larry does a fantastic job. I've done it twice. And you can actually see places that you can't actually access unless you do the tour. And those locations are worth it just enough, because pretty much the stairwell from Dawn of the Dead, the engine room, where Flyboy is having the the terrible shootout, or whatever you want to call it, with the Warner Shook zombie. It all looks almost exactly the same as it did in 1978. So just being able to see those locations is worth it alone for me. So yeah, I've done that tour twice, and Larry is he's the major domo of Dawn of the Dead history, and he really puts in the work, and he makes the tour really entertaining, and a lot of information. So it's totally worth the money that you would spend to get that location tour as well. So yeah, check it out, livingdeadweekend.com. You can get your tickets, and that's what we're going to be looking at here. Going to go through the website here, look at all the guest lists, look at the schedule, look at the panel list, and see what all we got to offer this year for Living Dead Weekend 2023. So I got the guest list scrolling down here at the bottom. Let me see if I can pull up and do a little, there we go. Hope that's working okay. Looks like everything's good. So yeah, let's, this is livingdeadweekend.com. This is the homepage here. So yeah, let's start scrolling through, see what we got. Get us ready. And of course they do Living Dead Weekend in Evans City every year in October. They did it last year. Well, I shouldn't say every year. They missed a few years there during COVID. Didn't get a chance to do it. They brought it back last year at I think a brand new convention center or something in Evans City. Really wanted to go, but just couldn't make it happen financially, work wise. But yeah, hopefully hope to make it this year if I can. But yeah, that's in October. Of course, here you can get your event tickets. You can book. I think they had a block of rooms available that you could get at the. So right across from the mall is the DoubleTree, the famous DoubleTree hotel. So literally, you get the hotel and you can walk across the parking lot. You're at the mall. So it actually works out really, really well. I know at a lot of conventions, they take place in a actual hotel. So you can actually stay in your room, go down to the convention, go back up to your room, drink a little, I don't know, whatever you want to do to celebrate the weekend and then head back down to the convention. You can pretty much do the same thing here. But I'm pretty sure these rooms have been, I booked my room at the DoubleTree last year as soon as the dates were announced for this year's. So I was able to actually get a room this year, but I booked it months and months and months ago. So I highly doubt there are any rooms left to book now. But there are plenty other really, really nice hotels. And even if you're on a budget, the Red Roof, which is not far. I wouldn't say it's walking distance, but it's not far from the actual mall. I think it's pretty cost friendly, and I stayed there for one night last year, the first night that I got there, and it's actually not a bad, budget hotel room. So even if you want to do something like that, you can totally do that. But okay, let's get down here to the guest list and go through. Of course, headliners: Ken Foray. He was here. He was at the convention last year as well. But Ken does so many conventions, and there's so much that you can talk to Ken about or get signed. I mean, he's done so much over the years, but you can't have a 45th anniversary of Dawn of the Dead without Ken Foray. And of course, Galen Ross is going to be. This will actually be the first time I'll get to meet Galen Ross. So that's pretty exciting stuff. So if you're a fan of Dawn of the Dead, or if you're a fan of the slasher cult classic that she did in the early 80s, Madman, I think she's warmed up to that film at this point. I know for a long while there, she didn't want to talk about it or really have anything to do with that movie. And after watching the movie, I just recently saw it. I picked up that, I think it was Vinegar Syndrome put it out. I believe it was Vinegar Syndrome. I recently picked it up and watched it. And yeah, I didn't even realize it was her the first time I saw her on the screen. But yeah, she's in that, and I can't blame her if she doesn't have too fun of it. But she's done so much since that, not in terms of acting, but I think she's a filmmaker now on her own. She does documentaries and stuff like that. So a lot to talk about there with Galen. So of course, Ken Foray, Galen Ross, the big three here. Scott Reiniger. Met Scott back at Texas Frightmare Weekend back in 2008. That was the one and only time I've got to meet Scott. He's a super, super cool guy. Good sense of humor. So yeah, I definitely look forward to seeing him again. So yeah, that's your big three. I mean, I would love for David Emke to be there. I understand why you can't, but you can't beat that. You got Galen Ross, Ken Foray, and Scott Reiniger all in the same spot. You can't beat that. Warner Shook, of course. As we mentioned a minute, the engine room zombie, boiler room zombie, whatever you want to call him. And I love his role in Night Riders. And that's another thing about this convention too, is it's also a Night Riders reunion, because tons of the people that are in this, I mean, pretty much everybody except Galen Ross so far had a role in Night Riders as well. So if you have, I mean, I love Night Riders. I think that's maybe George's. I wouldn't say his best film. Maybe it is his best executed film, I guess you could say. I just think it's a masterpiece of a film in a lot of ways. But I loved his role in that. I think he did a fantastic job. And of course, Warner Shook, we're talking about all the work that Galen Ross has done since her work with George. Warner Shook, I think, is a Pulitzer Prize playwright, I believe. So, I mean, this guy, probably doesn't have to do too many conventions, but the fact that he is doing them is pretty cool on his part. That says a lot. Then, of course, the man himself here, Tom Savini. I mean, you can't have a Dawn of the Dead reunion without Tom Savini, or a Night Riders reunion, because I think Night Riders is Tom's best role, period. I think Tom was amazing in Night Riders. And speaking of great performances, John Amplas, Martin himself, or Martinez. Although there is a bit of a controversy there between him and Joe Shelby about who is the actual Martinez in Dawn of the Dead. I think it's John Amplas's character, but that's just my take on it. Nobody knows for sure, I don't think, and I think it's kind of a Luke point at this point. But of course, he was in Knight Rider as the mime. What do they call him? Whiteface, I believe. And John's another super nice guy when you meet him. Loves to talk to the fans. Randy Kovitz. Pronunciation, but of course, Cop from the Dock, had a role in Night Riders, did a lot with George right around that time. So he's going to be there, and this is the big one for me. Miss Christine Romero. I've waited years and years and years to finally meet her. I don't think she gets enough credit for what she meant to George, his films. Around the time that she entered the picture, George's filmmaking took that next step, and I think it's easy to overlook sometimes the importance. I mean, what do they say? Behind every man is a great woman, or whatever that saying is. Definitely applies to Miss Christine Romero here, and of course her roles in Martin, Night Riders. I mean, everything all the way up through, I think, she had a small role in The Dark Half. Of course, she was in Monkey Shines. So much to appreciate Miss Christine Romero for. And this is an interesting one. Molly McCloskey. Of course, she had that small role at the beginning of Dawn of the Dead in the control room. She had a small role in Night Riders, but she's mainly known for Romper Room. I think she was the doobie in Romper Room, if I'm not mistaken. And she also, I believe she was in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood as well. Miss Molly. I want to say, if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. So that's pretty cool. To have Molly McCloskey to be there, that's going to be cool. And this is one of my all-time favorite convention guests. I mean, me and Mr. Gornick at Horror Hound last year in Cincinnati, I think we spent 25-30 minutes just talking, just about mostly about that black and white print of Martin that was discovered. I had so many questions. I always have so many questions for him, because he was there. I mean, he was. I told him, I was like, you were George's eyes. You and him and George had such a great chemistry. George could convey to him what he wanted, and Gornick knew. And just all the work that he's done and everything over the years. Such a cool guy. Tasso, another fantastic get for this. He's only going to be attending Friday and Saturday, unfortunately, which planning on leaving Sunday, so it doesn't affect me too much. But if you want to meet Tasso, of course, Tasso, stuntman, Dawn of the Dead, Night Riders. Of course, he had a role in Day of the Dead. Tasso did so much. He was pretty much Tom Savini's right hand man, and they were, they were tight for years there working on these films. So that's a big one. Jeannie Jeffries, met her for the first time last year. Super, super nice woman. Definitely another one of the guests that will actually take time to actually talk to you, get to know you a little bit, ask you questions about you, and say what you will, but there are a lot of convention guests that just don't do that. They're, hey, how you doing? Hey, I really liked your movie. Hey, appreciate it. What do you want me to sign? Do you want me to put anything there? Okay, thanks. That's $40. Thanks, I appreciate it. Would you like a picture? Sure. Here's a picture. Goodbye. Jeannie Jeffries, she's very personal. And if you go to her table, you're going to get more than you bargained for. Yeah, you'll get an 8x10, or if you have something for her to sign, she'll sign it. But last year she was just pulling out shit left and right. Pictures. She had like an 8x10, or not an 8x10, but a 4x6, I think, picture of her and George shortly before he passed. She just gave me that, gave me business cards. She was like, oh, you want some of this? You want this? She'll hook you up. Airport Zombie, the man himself, Paul Musser. And my God, if you don't have anything for him to sign, then you don't have very much, because he's, to think of all the toys and busts, and we went over, I showed you a few of my collection last night, all the stuff that Paul Musser and his character has, that you can sign. It's amazing. I told the story about the 45 that I had of Fluid, the band that he was in at the time with Mike Christopher, the Harry Krishna zombie. He was in a band at the time while they were filming Dawn of the Dead called Fluid. I actually have a 45 that they put out at that time, and just to see, his reaction to seeing that 45, it was just blown away. He was so happy to see that again. Renee Banks, this is a good one. This is, of course, this is the first zombie, well, maybe second zombie, because I guess the amputee zombie would be technically the first, but this is the first zombie that actually attacks, and we get to see at the beginning of Dawn of the Dead. I don't think she does very many conventions. This is the first one that I can remember her being at. So that's definitely cool. Trudy Gray, guys, she's super freaking cool. Met her a couple of years ago for the first time. Such a nice woman, and it's funny. It's kind of an embarrassing story when I met Trudy. I was just standing at the table talking to her because I just thought her story is so entertaining and interesting. I feel like she has a lot of stories to tell, because she was the one, and of course the biker gang that they used in Dawn of the Dead was a real biker gang, and she was the one female, she was the one woman, actual biker in that gang. So just to get her memories and her perspective on that whole thing is so interesting. But it's kind of funny. Like I said, it's kind of an embarrassing story. But I'm just kind of talking to her about that, telling her, I appreciate, appreciate her stories and her memories of that time. And she's got some funny stories. I think there are quite a few of them on the Second Sight special feature documentary that they did. Where she's talking about, how, what it was like being the only female biker in the gang. But, we're going on and on. She signs an 8x10 for me. I thank her, and I walk off. Don't think anything of it. Didn't pay. I forgot to actually pay her. She was so welcoming. It's not like she was just standing there with her hand out waiting for the money. She would just said, "Oh, bye, nice to see you. Okay, appreciate it, thank you." I walk away, and then it hits me a couple of minutes later. I'm like, I didn't give her the money for that. So I just kind of walked back over with the money, and she just is kind of looking at me with this grin. And I was like, I am so sorry. I completely forgot that there's a cash transaction that's supposed to take place here. And she just laughed. She was like, it's totally fine. I wasn't even going to say anything. So she's just a really sweet lady like that. Richard France, man, Can you? What a badass guest! What a badass get! Just his role in the Crazies and his role in Dawn of the Dead makes him iconic enough to make the trip just to finally meet him, because he did just refuse, flat out refuse to do conventions for years and years and years. Um, and I think they finally talked him into it, and just kind of was like, because I think the whole thing with him was he really didn't understand why anybody would want his autograph or why anybody would care. He didn't feel like his role in the films uh, were that important. He didn't understand why anybody would, care. And then I think they finally kind of talked him into it. And I think it was the 40th anniversary when they finally got him to come to the mall and do the convention. And I've seen him do a couple since, and I think it kind of opened his eyes to like, wow, there's like this whole thing going on. Because I mean, he was kind of, off the radar for a long time there. I think he was teaching or something, but so yeah, that's definitely that's a day one autograph right there. I got to meet the great Richard France, man. Um, and then of course David Crawford, another all star convention guest that everybody's got. He's just really cool guy. Got his 8x10 right here, right next to me. Marty Schiff, another guy that pretty much worked on pretty much everything that Romero did around this time period. Always around. That's a cool get. This is another one. This is another huge one for me. Is Tony Bubba. Not only am I a huge fan of the work that he did with George, with like Martin, and he even started during the sports documentary time period. But I mean, he's been a filmmaker in the Pittsburgh area, specifically Braddock, for years and years and years. I mean, he's pretty much dedicated his entire life to capturing the town of Braddock. And it's perfect. I can't stress enough, if you haven't seen Lightning Over Braddock, the documentary, or if you call it I guess you could call it a documentary, but I guess it's more of a cinema verite ish. I don't know what you'd call it. All I know is it's fucking awesome, and it's one of the best movies that I've seen, because I just recently saw it maybe a year and a half ago, and I've watched it a number of times since then because it's so enjoyable. It's so good. He's such a good filmmaker, and I can't wait to finally get to meet him and tell him how much I appreciate him and all his work over the years. Because I can't go on enough about how much I like that film. Lightning Over Braddock. Check it out. I'll plug it every stream, every video I do that mentions Tony Bubba. Lightning Over Braddock. Check it out. Deborah Gordon, of course. Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, a career zombie, and of course her husband Chuck Gordon. Chuck Gordon, you can see on a lot of the 8mm films that Ralph Langer did, which is another guest that's going to be at this convention. You see him like eating a cookie or something at one point. It's pretty funny. This is a big one. Kathleen Feeney, the nun zombie. We've got her. I don't know what a nuns wear, her dress or whatever you want to call it, stuck in the J.C. Penney's. With Fran closes the door and the nun's stuck. I don't know. I can't say for sure. She may have done the 40th anniversary, but I don't remember right offhand. But the fact that they got her this year is really cool. And I think she's doing a photo op too. So that's pretty cool. She's going to be in the full gear and everything like that. And I know this is the first convention for this guy, Dan Bertha. Of course, was one of the SWAT guys at the beginning of Dawn of the Dead. So this is going to be his first convention. Roy Frumkus, speaking of great filmmakers and great documentarians. Of course, we all know Roy Frumkus from the Document of the Dead documentary, with the making of Dawn of the Dead. He did that, and of course, he played the zombie in that gets the pie in the face. But he also directed I don't know what schlocky kind of low budget horror film in the 80s called Street Trash. So that's another good one. Man, there's so many. Of course, Ralph Langer, just talked about him. Of course, did all the 8mm stuff. That I think the video with his commentary on it is on my channel if you want to check that out. And Ralph is just another super cool guy to meet, just to talk to. I mean, he'll stop. I mean, he's literally one of those that'll talk to you as long as you want to talk, because he's got a lot of memories and a lot of he's very grateful for the fans and then just being able to be a part of all of it. Karen Guillory, another zombie. This may be her first convention, I believe. Mark Cooper, another Dawn zombie. I mean, they're literally bringing out anybody who is a zombie at any point in Dawn of the Dead is going to be there. Mark, I'm pretty sure this is not his first. I think I've seen him at Living Dead Weekend in the past. Of course, Joe Shelby, another cool guy, always on Facebook interacting with fans and having a good time with it, and just super nice guy. So definitely be good to see him again. Of course, William Lasco. And it's funny, if I remember correctly, I believe last year, and he may do this every year if I'm not mistaken, but he will actually put on the outfit that he's wearing here. He's one of the rednecks in Dawn of the Dead, and he'll have the little bandage around his head and everything. I mean, he really gets into it. He really fun guest. Bob Michelucci. It's not only the scope zombie. I guess that's what he's most known for, but man, well, he's a collector. I mean, he did, of course, the VHS artwork where Roger is rising. Of course, the poster book and everything. I got him to sign that. It was last year or 2 years ago, Living Dead Weekend. But another really cool guy, and another guy that when you visit his booth you're going to get your money's worth, because he's one of those guys that has so much stuff that he will literally just start throwing in shit left and right. Just like, here's an autographed baseball card. Here's this. Oh, you want this? Here, I'll sign this. Here, take it. So yeah, you'll get your money's worth with Bob Michelucci at his table. And then, the great Sharon Hill. Great Sharon Hill. If you haven't met her, sweetest lady. And that another one that we're missing this year is of course her husband Clayton. First time I met both of them in 2008, Texas Frightmare Weekend. Just the nicest people you can imagine. So grateful and happy to see everybody, and just can't recommend Sharon enough. And another one, of course, Jim Crut, Helicopter Zombie, another guy that you'll get your money's worth. Another one that literally you buy something off his table, he'll sign it and then just start throwing shit in left and right. You're just like, I appreciate it, man, but and he's just pulling out pictures and stuff. He's like, "Hey, you want this? Oh, you like this?" He was so cool last year. I bought an action figure from one of the custom action figures that I think I showed last night on the stream. When I bought that from him, he actually I think he threw in an autographed 4x6 as well. And then he also, when I told him, we were discussing, just shooting the shit a little bit, and I told him I had a daughter at home who was, what was she, 1.5 or so around the time, and he just pulls out this coloring sheet, like out of a coloring book. It's like it's a coloring sheet of him as the helicopter zombie, and then like a little zombie girl or something like that. It's like, here, take this for her. She'll love it. And of course, brought it home, and she colored it, quote unquote, and scribbled all over it, and it's still hanging on our fridge downstairs. So Jim Crut, another super nice guy. And speaking of my daughter, Lenny Lees, I have a picture of her with the machete in his head. He got a big kick out of that. So, and just another iconic zombie, super nice guy to meet in person. So I can't recommend these three right here. I mean, you're not going to meet nicer people at a convention than Sharon Hill, Jim Crut, and Lenny Lees. Vincent Volk, that's one that I haven't met before. I think he's done maybe 1 or 2 conventions in the past. I feel like I remember him being advertised for the 40th, but I don't think he's done one since. I could be wrong. Christian Dryden, of course, who was the boy who was obsessed with bicycles in the J.C. Penney's. He's going to be there. And another guy that's always really cool and interacts with the fans on Facebook and in a lot of the Facebook groups, Living Dead Weekend Facebook group, and all that. Good sense of humor. Mike Narducci. Not sure if he's done a convention before. This may be his first as well. And Bill Smith, this may be his first as well. I mean, like I said, they pulled out all the stops this year, guys. If you have, if you're like me, you have like an original one sheet or something that you're gonna get signatures on. I mean, this is the place to do it because I mean, you can literally rack up and get pretty much everybody. So Bill Smith here, Walt Cravo, he's gonna be there. I think this is his first convention. David Hikes, one of the rednecks. I do believe this is his first convention. Christopher Dean Sullivan, this is not his first convention. He's usually there every year. Really fun-loving guy. Gary Marlatt. I mean, like I said, you can go on and on and on. I mean, I know for the 40th anniversary they had 40 guests from Dawn of the Dead, and this year I believe they probably have more than 40. I don't know if they have 45, or I guess I could sit here and count them, but that would be very boring content for people to watch. So I'm not going to do that. Melissa Dunlap, of course, the one of the zombie children at the airport. R.I.P. Not for Melissa Dunlap, but the airport. Ed Letteria, this would be an interesting one. Not only did he have that small role in Dawn of the Dead, where they're walking out, and he's like, "It's just crazy, man," whatever. When he runs into to Steven's character, but another important figure behind the scenes as well. I did a lot of work behind the scenes for George on Dawn. Of course, Alexander Cook. I'm not sure if he's done a convention before. A lot of these guests that we're going through here, Mary Lee. If they have, I believe they've probably only done the 40th anniversary. I'll try to speed up a little bit because goddamn, there's so many guests. As you can see down here at the bottom. And there's so much to go through. And we've already been running for about over 45 minutes here. So of course, Denise Kiss, her husband John. I believe they're guests pretty much every year at Living Dead Weekend. Very committed, very cool people. Bobby Van Eamon. This is an interesting because she had a role in Night Riders as well, and of course she's the zombie with the white dress in the parking lot. I believe it's the scene where Peter's playing the tennis or whatever on the roof, and the ball falls down, and you see the big zombie shots. I believe that's where you'll see her. Bill Keys. This one is cool. Everybody calls him the Grandpa Joe zombie, which is understandable. I believe this is his first convention as well. So that's pretty cool. I actually saw a pretty cool sketch that somebody did of him the other day. So I hope he sees that and gets a kick out of it. I know if anybody is going to do a sketch, it's going to be Daniel Lowry, Doodles of the Dead. I don't know if he's done one or not. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, this dude's got just binders full of just sketches and stuff that he's done. I was able to buy one from him, and I just love it. I just love the whole thing. So if you get a chance, check it out. Doodles of the Dead, Daniel Lowry, fantastic artist. Him and his wife both. They do such cool work, and they're going to have a booth at the Living Dead Weekend. So stop by, check them out. Doodles of the Dead. A lot of cool stuff. Now this one they just announced not that long ago, I believe earlier this week. Tom Dubinsky, Saturday and Sunday only. This is going to be probably my first stop on Saturday is to talk to Tom Dubinsky. Now Tom Dubinsky was kind of Mike Gornick's right hand man. He did a little bit of everything on pretty much all of George's films. I want to say, I'm not 100% sure. I want to say it was from the Crazies through the sports documentaries all the way up through Dark Half. I mean, Tom Dubinsky was there through the whole thing with George. And he was kind of George's right-hand man in a lot of ways. but just an encyclopedia of knowledge. You ask him anything about any film that he worked on. I mean, I've listened to interviews that he's done. I know he did a really cool one on for the WGON network, WGON radio podcast with Matt Blasey and Eric Kent. They had him on there for like it was like a 3 hour interview, and I know he's done some stuff with the Garf with them as well. Some like Martin location videos. Dude's just, I mean, he's sharp. He I don't know if I feel like he said maybe he kept notes as these but can't wait to talk to him. And I have so many questions and just so much to ask him, talk to him about. So I think that wraps up all of the Dawn of the Dead guests. Got some comments here. Check this out. Grande's Graveyard. What's up, my man? Oh, you're going to be there. Awesome, man. If you see me walking around with a handful of shit, with hit me up, man. Stop me and say hello. Definitely cool. Planning on meeting Amplis, Scott, Ken, France, and Gornick. Yes, I'll be stopping at all their tables as well. I just recently purchased. I finally made the leap and purchased the original one sheet with the green letters, and just recently purchased that, and I plan on getting quite a few signatures on that sucker. I got a chance. Just with all these people in one spot. How much do you think Ken and Scott will charge for auto and a table pick? If I'm not mistaken, I feel like Ken last year stopped at his table. And I know he did. They are offering photo ops with Ken and Scott, and I think all three of them together. And we'll go over the photo ops here in a minute. But I want to say that I feel like he charges $40 for an autograph. I don't know. I can't remember if that includes a picture or not, but I want to say it was $40. Or hell, it may be $60. I don't remember. But it's going to be somewhere in that range. It's going to be up there. Aaron Jordan. Habit. Oh, okay. I guess you're referring to the nun's outfit. I was calling it a dress or something. You're 100% right. Habit. You're right. I'm not Catholic. I don't know much about Catholicism, so so yes, it's a habit, folks. She's going to be in the full habit for a photo op at the Living Dead weekend, and please do, man. Like I said, I'm going to be flying solo, so if you see me, come say hi, man. Let's hang out. Let's see, where are we at? Okay, so I guess we're moving on. So the Night Riders, this is a big one. Night Riders guest, Amy Ingersoll, and I guarantee you, she has never done. I'm almost 100% sure she's never done a convention before. That's a big get. I'm actually very surprised, and of course, over the last few years, Living Dead Weekend has really brought out some big, some rare guests from Night Riders. I know they had Gary Lot. How do you pronounce it? Gary Lottie, I think is how you pronounce his name. He was there a couple of years ago, along with the Blackbird. I can't think of his name now. But he was there, and that was a guy that just kind of disappeared for years and years and years. Nobody knew what happened to that guy. But he showed up, and you know, both looked fantastic. Both had a great time, as far as I could tell. So it'll be really interesting. I plan on stopping by Amy's table and getting her to sign something, Night Riders wise. So that'll be cool. Then some Day of the Dead guests. That's the Kentucky coming out in me. Some Day of the Dead guests. Anthony DeLeo is going to be there. Of course, Miguel. And, of course, his role in Night Riders. Like I said, man, all these guests were in Night Riders at some point. Night Riders is pretty much a collection of the Romero universe all in one film. Mark Tierno is going to be there. Of course, Beef Treats. Famous zombie from Day of the Dead. Michael Tommaso. How would you call him? I'll call him the mailbox zombie just because his football jersey says mailbox for some reason, but I guess we can call him the football player zombie. Dave Figure is going to be there, another guy that very active on the Facebook groups. George, this guy, I think, just said today that he's. I think it's already spoken for by Larry DeVincent, which most anything collectible is going to be. And of course, Larry's the one that does the tours, the mall tour at the convention. So if anybody deserves to have this stuff, to keep this stuff, I hope it's him that has it. But I believe George Demick, I believe is how you pronounce that. He actually has a comic book insert from Creepshow that Mike Gornick gave him a few years back, and I think he was looking to sell it. And I think Larry's going to buy it, so that'd be pretty cool. Mike Ankus is another zombie from Day of the Dead. J.R. Bookwalter. Not only was he a zombie in Day of the Dead, but he's also the director of The Dead Next Door, which is one of the better no budget zombie movies that have ever been made. And then Robot Ninja, I don't know too much about, but I know The Dead Next Door is one that still to this day, a lot of people in the horror community talk about as being a much better film than it had any right to be, just budget reasons alone. So yeah, now we're getting Jerry Gergelli. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I think he's like what do you call it? The headmaster or something. I don't know. It sounds a little Harry Potterish or something, but the main headmaster, the main dean or whatever at the Tom Savini's special makeup school. I think he's going to be doing that. He's going to be there doing some demonstrations, some different stuff. And of course, we got some Night of the Living Dead guests. John Russo, of course, is going to be there. Another guy that'll give you a lot of time and give you your money's worth. If you buy something off his table. And of course, he's got all kinds of stuff, not just 8x10s. I mean, he's got books and all kinds of stuff from over the years that he'll have to sell. Rick Catazone, who is also of course the illustrator for the comic portions of Creepshow. So if you have anything Creepshow, that's the guy you really want to get a signature on, because I mean, a lot of that design and comic book look that film had. Rick Catazone was a big reason for that. Of course, Paula Richards, pretty prominent zombie when you think about it, because I mean, you see that image there, you can immediately flash back to that scene. Dick Heckard, which I believe is a guy that just started. I believe his first convention was the Living Dead weekend in Evans City last year in October. So it'll be cool to see him for the first time. Of course, he's only going to be there Friday and Saturday, so will I. So yeah, I guess it works out. So that's pretty cool that they were able to track him down and find him. And of course, Jim Cirinella, I believe it's how you pronounce that. See, it's the Southern Kentucky thing with those weird northern names. I don't know. I didn't grow up knowing too many Cirinellas, but I believe he was the one that tracked him down. He's like the major domo of Night of the Living Dead and all things Night of the Living Dead related. So yeah, pretty cool. Now we're getting into the photo ops here. Another comment here from Grande. That's cool. Totally my heroes. Never met any of them. Dawn is my all-time favorite film. I can't wait. Hoping they're all nice. Dawn is my all-time favorite film too, man. I don't know if have you ever actually been to the mall or any of the locations yet? I did a video. I know they just recently tore down the airport. I did a stream last night, kind of saying my goodbyes to the airport. But I was lucky enough to actually get to stop and check it out one last time last year. I was hoping they would hold out one more year, but just we were a week too late for that one. But yeah, let's see. Never been fly, dude. You're gonna have a blast. It's like it's like I said earlier. My friend Matt put it the best. It's Disney World for guys like us. You get to the mall and it's just like, wow, this is it. This is, for Star Wars fans, it's the Millennium Falcon. For Star Trek fans, it's the Starship Enterprise or whatever. And it's like you just get to go and walk around and play on the biggest, one of the most famous, you know, sets in horror history. It's still there. You're gonna have a great time. I can't wait to meet you, man. I look forward to it. Um, let's see. So yeah, now we're into the photo ops, and there's a lot of different photo ops here. Pro photo op, Knight Rider's guest, Knight Rider's replica thrones. I've seen these thrones being built. Um, looking pretty sharp, pretty sharp. Um, I don't guess I don't need to go over all of the details here, but you got your Knight Riders photo op, Hero Group Bench photo op with Galen Ross, Ken Foray, Scott Reiniger. That'll be pretty cool. That's one that I considered. I'm not a huge photo ops guy, to be honest, but there, like I said, there are some on here that that really made me second guess. Like, maybe that would be pretty cool to have on the wall. So you got the photo ops there. You got the Ken Foray. This is another one that I think would be pretty freaking awesome. Is the photo op at the bank pose. I actually have this image on a T-shirt. so um, so that'd be a pretty damn cool photo op. The bank is not there anymore. I don't know what they plan on doing. I guess maybe you just stand there with. If the actual bank was still there, that would be pretty awesome. But I don't know how they're going to work that out. I guess we'll see. Tom Savini motorcycle photo op. They did this last year, and they actually still have the actual screen used motorcycle and sidecar. Tom gets in costume as Blade with the sword and everything, and you'll actually be on the actual motorcycle or sidecar, I guess, however you want to take the photo. It's the actual one screen used from the film, and still in pretty good condition, believe it or not, for a 45 or probably 50. Who knows how old that motorcycle was when they shot. Of course, the solo Galen Ross photo op. If you just want a photo with Galen, Scott Reiniger photo op. This one is intriguing. Dummies, dummies, dummies. Argue with Richard France on TV photo op. Includes a TV set matte frame. I'm still thinking about purchasing this photo op. Like I said, I'm not a big photo op guy. I don't think I've ever bought a photo op in general. Like, if I meet the person and, we take a selfie or something, that's one thing, but never been much to pay for a photo. But this one is intriguing. You pay to argue with Richard France on that. Now that's creative. That's good shit right there. So that to me, that would be worth the money. Yeah. Then, of course, like we mentioned earlier, the Zombie Nun photo op with Kathleen Feeney. Of course, Kathleen Feeney's going to be in the full habit. Thank you, Aaron Jordan. She'll be in the full habit for the photo op, so that'll be pretty cool. Scope Zombie Squib demonstration with photo op includes a gun scope matte frame. So I guess they're going to be doing some squib demonstrations with our buddy Bob Michelucci here. So that'll be kind of cool to see in person. I know when I was making my, no budget films in my high school, early 20s, I know when I was doing that, I tried my own version of a squib, which is basically taking a firecracker and putting it on a piece of board, taping the firecracker down, and then taking a condom full of fake blood, putting it over the firecracker, putting it under the clothes, lighting the firecracker. Yeah, very safe. I safety first on my sets, by God. But I don't think I've ever actually seen like an actual squib. So that'll be pretty interesting. I'd be excited to see it. The demo itself is free. On Event Stage in Romero Court, Saturday, 6 p.m. Damn, I don't know if I'll be able to do that because they're having that Martin screening Saturday night as well that I plan on attending. Got tickets for, and that's going to be at the Carnegie Museum of Art. I believe is what it's called. So I don't know if I'll be able to make it there for that. That kind of sucks. Flyboy lookalike photo op. Scott Kellaway will be reenacting the elevator scene with screen used elevator from Dawn of the Dead. Yes, they actually have. They were able to salvage the elevator from JCPenney's. It's in the Living Dead Museum. And this guy, Scott Kellaway, he's on Facebook. Every convention that he goes to, he's the cosplay king because his walk, he looks just like Flyboy. Not only as the Flyboy zombie, but he'll cosplay as Flyboy, the pilot with the leather jacket and everything. And it's spot on. It's incredible. He's even done Johnny from Night of the Living Dead, and it's spot on. This guy, I don't know how he does it. He almost morphs into these characters. There's Abby saying hello for the first time tonight. Probably not the last. But it's like he just transforms into these people. It's crazy how he does it. I think he is. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's a special edition version of Dawn of the Dead somewhere with a special feature where it shows him walking, doing the Steven zombie walk down the hallway in the mall. I want to say it's the second site maybe that they did it. I can't remember. But yeah, that's pretty cool. And just being able to see the elevator itself, pretty much complete the way it was when they salvaged it. It looked pretty much exactly the same as it did in the film back in 1978. That was one thing that at the Living Dead Museum, that was one thing that I just stood and just stared at for a while. It's pretty incredible. So definitely stop by and check out the elevator, even if you don't get the photo op. And then, of course, this is going on Friday night. I can't wait for this. A Friday Night Riders viewing party. I don't know if Grande, are you going to be at that viewing? I think this is taking place in the mall somewhere. I know they have a theater there, but I don't think that they are using the theater for this. I think it's more of like a room or something that they're using. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's pretty much a screening of Night Riders with introduction by cast, food and beverages included, meet and greet party. Pretty cool. That's going to be on Friday at 9 p.m. So yeah, got it. I've got my tickets for that. So I'm basically going to be doing the Night Riders screening on Friday and then the Martin screening on Saturday. So like I said, I plan on doing some streams at the end of both nights, but it could be late. So we'll see what happens. And of course, Pittsburgh is an hour ahead of where I am now, so that'll be interesting. I may be a fucking zombie by the time I get back on Sunday night. Work will be fun Monday morning. Either way, I can guarantee that. Let's see, and then this is we went over that one. Screen used motorcycle. So yeah, the actual motorcycle is on display. There is going to be an actual exhibit there in the mall where you can look at it. I think you can just take a picture with it if you want, if I remember correctly. But yeah, the actual screen used motorcycle and sidecar is going to be there. And of course, movie exhibits, Living Dead Museum. You got to check it out. I think it's like $10 or something to take the tour, and it's worth every penny. They do such a great job at Living Dead Museum putting all that together. And of course, they also have the Evil Dead workshed from Evil Dead 2. They don't have the whole thing, but I think they have like most of it that you can actually look at and get a picture with or whatnot. Of course, we went over the sidecar. The tour, like I said, I can't recommend the tour enough. I've done it twice. It's Larry does such a good job with it, man. He's got props. I mean, he's got literally like the walkie-talkie, the same type of walkie-talkie that they use in Dawn of the Dead. He's got the key ring. I mean, he does such a fantastic job with it. I don't know how he does it every year because he puts so much into every tour that he does that by the end of it, I mean, I'm exhausted. I can't imagine how exhausted he is. So yeah, I can't recommend the tour enough. And like I said, you'll be able to get access to, the stairwell, the engine room, and the The fantastic thing about actually getting to see the actual engine room or boiler room or whatever you want to call it is you can hear it. As you get closer, you start to hear that sound. And if you love Dawn of the Dead, and you know Dawn of the Dead, you know that sound, the sound from the movie. It still sounds the same. I guess over time, you know, shit changes, but sounds don't change. I guess it still sounds just like it did in the movie. And of course, you got them all location tour times: Friday 6, Saturday at 1, Sunday at 10. Uh, I did the Saturday one the first year and the Sunday one last year. The Sunday tour is pretty cool because it's actually a tour through the mall while the mall's closed. Um, so it's a little more personable, little more less going on all around you. But I will say there is something pretty funny about this big tour going on. All these people kind of shambling around, looking at things and taking pictures of pillars and shit like that. And then people, mall goers are just kind of walking by with their shopping bags, just like in total confusion, like that. Because you'd be amazed that most people don't know that mall was the mall from Dawn of the Dead. It's pretty amazing. And of course, there's going to be a lot of vendors there. Like I said, check out Doodles of the Dead. My buddy Daniel Lowry, he's going to be there. And he's got all kinds of cool shit. His own artwork, memorabilia, stuff like that. Let's see. Are we at the bottom here? Location details. So yeah, this is just general information. If you need to know directions or where to go, frequently asked questions, etc., go to the website, check it out. livingdeadweekend.com is where it's at. Now let me see if I can find the actual schedule. Somewhere. Bear with me, folks. Got some. Try to catch up on some of these questions here. Friday, taking the mall tour Friday, but it should be over that time. Yeah, Friday tour, stoked for that. It should be over by 9. Join. Yeah, man, get the tickets for it, man. Come check it out. It should be fun. I think I can't remember what I paid for the tickets, but yeah, get a ticket, man. By the time I would guess that the tour would be over in time for that, because I know they have the VIP party on Saturday nights, and I know that Larry's made an effort in the past to make sure that the tour was over by the time the VIP party starts. So yeah, man, if you can make it, definitely hit me up and chop it up. Let's see. Another question. Do you know from what time to what time they sign for? So make sure I get everyone to meet. Not sure when the lines are. Yeah, there'll probably be the longer lines, but the beautiful thing about this convention, though, is it's not like, so like if you go to Horror Hound or you go to a lot of these other bigger conventions, a lot of the times you'll buy a ticket to get in line, to buy another ticket to get in line to meet the person type of deal where you're waiting for 2-3 hours. It's so much more laid back than there's so many guests here, and people are just kind of all kind of commingling and talking and having a good time together. That yeah, even the longest lines at Living Dead weekend are still, I mean, you're still going to be what, 15-20 minutes at the most, I think, unless I think one year they had Tony Todd there. He had a fairly long line. Bill Moseley was there last year. But even, like I said, even then, it's not anything crazy. There's just so much to do, so much going on. So I think you'll be able to hit pretty much everybody that you're planning on hitting fairly easily. And I think you'd have to with the amount of guests that are going to be there. Let's see. Schedule. I think that's what I'm looking for here. But yeah, that's one of the best parts about this convention. That's why I make the trip every year, because it's Monster Mania lines are like 6 hours. No, you won't be waiting 6 hours in line. Like I said, the most you may wait 15, 20 minutes. 30 at the most if they're having conversations or anything going on. And yeah, I think when I met George at Texas Frightmare Weekend, I think it was about a 3-hour wait at the time. So you won't have to worry about that. It's fairly laid back, and everybody's kind of chill and moving, one thing to the next, and it's pretty cool. Let me see. So here we got the guests again. I saw they had the full schedule up. Did it not? Let me see. Because they had everything, the entire schedule pretty much pulled up here. So yeah, here we go. So yeah, on Friday, vendor halls are going to be open noon to 8. So you got an 8-hour window there on Friday. Of course, general admission check-ins 2. So it's pretty much general admission 2 to 8. And then, of course, the Night Riders parties from 9 to 12 Friday night. So that'll be a late night. VIP and general admission check-in 10 a.m. Vendor hall, celebrity signings, panel stage events 10 to 7. And yeah, the Martin screening at the Carnegie Museum of Art is going to be at 8. And if you have the VIP mixer meet and greet, I've never done the VIP mixer, which every year I just say, I don't want to be, just kind of mingling around. I don't know. It doesn't seem like my type of thing, but then when I see like videos or photos from it, it's like, damn, I wish I would have been there. The one time I got I guess it's just the bad memory, because the one time I got a VIP, kind of mixer meet and greet ticket was at Texas Frightmare Weekend back in 2008. And it was that weekend was so draining and tiring and stressful, and that by the time that it was time to go to the VIP event, where you just kind of hang out and have some drinks and you get to mingle with, the celebrities or whatnot, I knew George was going to be there. Just like I can't do it. I stayed at the hotel, just went to sleep. I couldn't do it. So I'm thinking it may be just some like PTSD from that period. I don't think it's for me at this point. But like a screening or something like that, I'm totally down for that. Of course, they did the Night of Living Dead 90 screening last year, which was a lot of fun. With Bill Moseley was there and Tom and everybody. And then of course vendor halls, celebrity signings, panel stage events, 11 to 5 on Sunday. So photo op schedule is here. I'm not going to go through all of them. Like I said, check out the website. If you have a photo op purchased, to find out when your photo op's going to be going on. And of course the panels, some really cool panels here. It's with this one, 2 p.m. tribute to Nick Tallow, of course Bamba, of course who we lost over the last year. He was there last year, and just another really nice guy. And it's really unfortunate that he's no longer with us and he's not going to be there this year. I remember specifically the first year that we went to a Living Dead weekend 2 years ago in 2021. I was there with my fiance and our 8-month-old daughter at the time. And of course she was in a stroller, and we're just kind of walking around and she's just kind of taking it all in. And just out of nowhere, Bamba walks over and just starts talking to her. Just like, you got it made. Like, oh man, can I borrow this stroller? I'm tired of walking around. You got it made. You got it made in the shade. Just kind of making her giggle, and just such a sweet guy. But that I don't know. I'm kind of getting a little choked up here thinking about that. So yeah, he's definitely going to be missed this year. And it was just one of those things that we didn't wave him over to do it. He was just kind of there having a good time, and just wanted to make my daughter chuckle. And apparently just from anybody that knew him, just loved him to death. So definitely going to miss you this year, Nikki. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of these panels here. I mean, Dawn of the Dead full cast group reunion photo at 4:45. That's going to be super cool. Of course, you got the main three panel at 4 o'clock on Friday. That's going to be one that I'm going to have to attend. Martin, the Real Magic of Romero's Vampire Film with John Amplis, Tony Booba, Mike Gorn, and Christine Romero at 5 o'clock. I will 100% definitely be there. And if you heard my phone go off, I apologize. So yeah, this little block here probably from 4 to 6, I'll probably be spending a lot of time down there in the Romero Court for these panels. Saturday, and I'm just kind of picking and choosing here. And there's so much Night of the Living Dead panel here, Day of the Dead panel. You got your Zombies from Dawn of the Dead panel, 10 a.m. Night Riders panel with Amy Ingersoll, Jeannie Jeffries, Randy Kovitz, whatever. Christine Romero, Tom Savini, and Warner Shook. That should be a lot of fun. Night Riders full cast group reunion photo. That'll be pretty cool. Then, of course, you got your individual panels here with Ken Foray, Scott Reiniger, your effects guys, Tom Savini, Marty Schiff, Tasso, Zombie TV. This one would be good. David Crawford, Richard France, Molly McCloskey, and Bobby Van Eman. So there's just so much. It's hard. So much you want to stop and do and check out. But, man, there's so much going on that it's hard to make time for all of it. So you really just got to kind of buckle down and pick one or, 2 or 3, maybe 4 things to make sure that you're there for. Now, I know originally I was planning on leaving early Sunday morning to kind of get back home because I'm planning on going back to work on Monday. But when I saw that these 2 panels here, 11 a.m., Filming Dawn with Mike Gornick and Tom Dubinsky, that I may just have to stay just for that, leave a little later, get home a little later. But I don't know if I can pass up the opportunity of hearing Mike and Tom discussing the behind the scenes works of, because like I said, they work together on everything from Crazies, which I don't think I think Gornick did some work. God damn, I should turn my phone off. Did some work on the Crazies, but he wasn't the actual DP. But they worked together for years and years and years. So that's going to be super interesting. And of course, just the Galen Ross panel, just hearing her and getting her memories and thoughts and all that. So, and like I said, there's just so much more. And of course, George A. Romero Foundation, they do a panel every year. That's always really interesting to find out what they got going on. They're always up to something. I think they just released their newsletter earlier this morning, I believe. But so yeah, so there's the panel schedule, and that's pretty much all I kind of wanted to go over. So much going on, so much to do. If you go and you're bored, I don't think there's any help for you. I don't think there's any saving you because, like I said, there's so much going on from, let me get this pulled back up here out of the way. There we go. There's so much going on every day of the convention. And on top of all that, of course, you're surrounded by nothing but Romero filming locations. So I don't know. It's going to be hard to cram everything that I want to do in a short period of time. Last few times I've been, I've spent maybe 4 or 5 days there. This year I'm only going to be for a few days. Plan on getting there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, leaving on Sunday. But between the screenings, Night Riders on Friday, Martin on Saturday, of course you got all the panels. Of course, just walking around the convention, stopping by the vendor booths, saying hi to friends, checking out locations. I mean, it's going to be some early mornings and some late nights for me. I'm going to tell you that right now, and I'm not going to be worth a shit come Monday morning. So if my boss happens to listen to this, I just want to give you the heads up right now. That Monday morning is going to be rough. Let's see, we had another question here from Grande. Got the Night Riders ticket. If you have Facebook or Insta, let me know. I'll message you. Yeah, sure will, man. I'll shoot you a message over here in a minute, and we'll get that all set up. Look forward to meeting you. But yeah, a few days away. And the garage door is shutting underneath me. a few days away from Living Dead Weekend 2023, the 45th anniversary of Dawn of the Dead. I appreciate you guys checking this out, getting hyped, getting ready, getting pumped with me, because man, just doing this stream has got me really pumped. And like I said, I'm excited to to meet up with some old friends and make new friends, and that's kind of what this is all about. That's the reason I started this channel, the reason I started streaming and doing these things. Originally, I started the channel just as kind of I don't know, it's just kind of an archival thing for a lot of the more rare, underseen Romero stuff. But I like doing these streams and meeting meeting up with new people and having conversations, because like I said before, this is the type of stuff you can't really discuss and have water cooler talk over at work. It's most people, if you say, hey, yeah, like in Grande's case, if I'm flying to Pittsburgh to visit a mall, most people look at you cross-eyed and think something's wrong with you, which they're probably not wrong. But it's one big loony bin, and we're all in the same boat. So so it's good to know. Once a year we can all get together and go to Disney World, as it was put. So definitely look forward to that. Like I said, this will be my last stream until we get to the convention, get to Pittsburgh. And like I said, it'll be some late nights, but definitely keep you abreast of everything that's going on, and stories. And hey, if you want to hop on and you got stories and stuff you want to discuss while you're at the convention, you're more than welcome to. Just give me a heads up, let me know, and I'll get you on. But that'll be it for me tonight. I appreciate you guys checking this out. Like I said, I'll see you this weekend. Grande, I'll see you this weekend at the Living Dead Weekend. And until then, hope you guys have a great week. Safe travels. First and foremost, make sure you get there. Whether you're driving, flying, hitchhiking, whatever you got to do, just be safe and make sure you get there. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. Until then, stay scared.